always see yourself pursuing information technology and working at a company like AmerisourceBergen, or did your interest in STEM evolve as you matured?
It definitely evolved. And I have a daughter who just graduated from high school and is going to be starting college in the fall. And also an intern that I love. I love to invest in people and share, because people, there's many, and we'll probably get to that, but people invested in me, and I love to invest back in people. But one of the things I like to say is that every job that you have, you can learn something that will help you in the next job. And when I look back on my 30 something years of my career, I can honestly look at every single job that I've had and think of something from that job that I'm using today, or is helping me currently in my job today. So the fun fact is that I actually wanted to be a lawyer, and my undergrad degree is in accounting. So not even technology. And the truth is, my job didn't even exist. I mean, technology has evolved so much that the jobs that me and my peers do today, they didn't even exist as something that I would have said, hey, I want to do that when I get older. And I think just like the Hidden Figures, icons, like there was probably a lot. And even in the movie, when you looked at it, there was a lot that was evolving. When she got that job at the very end working for IBM, it was something brand new. They were all staring at this machine that's now, it was a computer that didn't exist, So it's really cool that you get to be a part of the innovation, but I think that it's being open to whatever is going to come as a result of that in a career, in a job, right? And so what happened is the way that my job, me getting into IT, I work not specifically, but what a lot of my background is in SAP. And so when my company, the company I was working for at the time, was getting ready to start this project, I was actually the newest member of the accounting group. And I kind of drew the short straw, because nobody else wanted to be involved in this project. Or like, why, they didn't see any value in it. And it turned out for me that I absolutely loved what I was doing, being a part of that project. I think it checked the boxes of so many things that I just enjoy: working with people, solving problems, training, being strategic. All of those things were wrapped up into this little role that I got to play in this project. And so somebody that was actually a mentor for me, probably one of the only other Black women in IT in SAP at the time that I knew, was working at the company. And she sort of took me under her wing a bit. And I had mentioned that if something ever came up in IT, I would love to be a part of it. And something did, and I got the job, and the rest is history. So that's kind of how I moved from accounting into IT. I drew a short straw, the best short straw I ever drew. But yeah.
Wow, that's cool. And I mean, it goes to show that no matter, and I'm actually the same age as your daughter, because I'm going to be in college in September as well. And I guess in my personal case, and in my immediate, like the people around me, they're always asking, oh, do you know like what you want to major in? Like, do you know what you want to study? And even if I don't know, but even if I did know, in 10 years and 20 years, what I could actually end up doing might not be the exact same thing as what I get my undergraduate degree in. So I think that's cool and inspiring, that you don't have to feel restrained by what you get a degree in, because you can really just use that as a pathway to lead into something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you have an experience or a moment when you first realized that you wanted to devote the rest of your life to STEM? And this is sort of similar to the question I just asked you, but talking about even when you were like much younger, when you were a kid or a teen, did you ever have like a moment when you really thought that what you were doing was cool? And I mean, I guess it would be a little different in your case because you first started with accounting, but even with accounting or something like that, did you have a moment when you decided that it was something you enjoyed doing?
Well, I actually can go back a little bit, and I will date myself, but I think I already have in this discussion. But when the very first, I guess, computer game that my family purchased was something called Atari, and we were, it was PacMan, and Donkey Kong and Frogger were the names of these, and Asteroids were the names of these things. as we played the games, my brother and my sister would often, they still joke around about how I always wondered, how does that work? Like, how, they're playing the game, keeping score or whatever. I'm like, how does that work? Like, how are the colors there? How does this joystick move the machine? There was always a wonder, like, about how things work for me. Even if it wasn't something I knew, that I didn't think that I wanted to pursue it, but there was definitely something in me that always wanted to know how things work. And so there's still a little bit of that in me. But again, I would have never put myself as like, oh, I want to be a gamer or create computer games or anything like that. But I definitely was very different than something like even my siblings and things like that. When I hit accounting, I will tell you that, and similar to the question that you have, which I would highly recommend to people, the foundation of a career, or I mean, of a degree that you get is never lost, right? Because the reason I'm successful at my job right now, I will tell you, one of the things is because I have experience in business and technology. I sit in a very interesting position because most IT associates get their degree in IT, technology, development, but don't necessarily understand the business. And then there's a lot of folks on the business side that don't necessarily understand. It's not even really their desire to understand IT. So being a liaison between business and IT, I mean, one of the job descriptions was it almost looked like they took my background, my resume, and wrote the job description, because there weren't a lot of people, and there still aren't necessarily a lot of people that have, like deep knowledge in both areas, right? So when I was in accounting, I knew that I didn't want to just quote unquote crunch numbers. So again, great background to have, did very well with it, but I knew that I didn't just want to do accounting. And so I think the moment probably was when I was on that project and I got to see how things work. And it was very intriguing to me. But the other part is that happens within IT is the moment when you have to explain what you're doing or explain technology to somebody. I think it's a skill, because not everybody can do that. And when I got an opportunity to not only just sort of help to build and design, but then get to explain through training and helping people to understand, those things were really important to me. And so that bug of STEM, if you will, probably happened in that time, around that time where all the stars sort of aligned, if you will, of the things that I really enjoyed doing, that there was actually a job, and I had an opportunity to kind of see it happen in a specific job in that way. So